begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
Greetings. How's everybody doing? Happy hump day, motherfuckers. What's good in the hood? You guys recover from your concept call last night? You guys aren't too burned out? Gotta have the heart, baby. It's nothing but love on this show. You already know. Purge mask. Well, that's what the market's doing, right? Purging out the last cycle's worth of victims and out with the old, in with next cycle's victims, right? That's how this works. All the people who've been destroyed in the last cycle turn to dust, Thanos style, and now we're fucking, we have another set of victims ready to roll in and take their place. Guys dug the concept call. So, guys, when you sleep on the concept call and you wake back up, there's a good chance you forgot maybe 80, even 90% of what you heard. But what you do retain should change everything about what you remember, what you know about markets now. You should see it at a higher resolution permanently from where you were yesterday. Yes, no, maybe so, almost, sort of, kind of. Just looking like a final boss. I'm always the final boss, baby. good shit. So now I think you guys see the vision of training a smarter audience, like at a higher level, right? I'm not sort of playing. Like, I want you guys to be fucking rock stars and this station to be a one of a kind. Repetition is key. Can't wait for the Euro session. I don't even remember what I said in the USA session. Let's see what happens in the Euro session. Every session's its own thing. Michael Burry stealing off my show. Captain says, for sentiments, quit my job, start of 2022 because got lucky in 2021 in crypto. Last week was the first time this year I looked for jobs in case I fucked it up like 2018. Thanks for all you do. That's not good. If last week's the last time you fucking looked for a job, then I'm not doing enough to keep you from having to go back there. It's a tough cycle this year. I gotta say, crypto, when you come from 2018 as a fucking crash, 2020 with COVID, and 2022, 3 cycles in the span of fucking 4 years is pretty fucking legendary. It's happening at a pace that, like, it's very hard for anybody to get their mind around. Shout out to Thomas. Appreciate any the bits at the show. Censored user. Ammon. Appreciate everybody throwing some bits at the morning. So hopefully you guys learned a lot more about contexting a price and keeping price at a proper resolution. So when we present ideas on the show, we present a lot of stuff that usually very macro resolutions. But now that you understand how to scale the fractal, you can take anything we have and you can now work with it. So there's a lot more ideas in the show than you really realize, and until you realize you can manipulate price to fit resolutions that work with your life. So we have tons more stuff in the show. When you go back to some of the old rewatches, they'll get a lot better. All right. That being said, hopefully right now I took a day off. We got some scorecards up. I would hope. I see that I definitely got one of the best responses to a show from the last show. I was pretty surprised by that. Seems that I didn't have any macro section or any of that stuff, and I thought it would probably not be the best thing. But this guy with FTX. This guy got the most likes of any show in months. So I guess you guys really like this one. Was it the mask? What was it about this one that was so fire? So we put a lot of things in there we thought, to help you guys, keep you guys safe. I can't even see how many people liked it here. I don't know where it went, but it's a lot. Oh, 229. That's the most we ever got. That lets me know how many of y'all watch the shows normally and don't hit that like button. So I'd love to see more of my shows hit 200, but definitely got some of the best comments and feedbacks on this one. So glad you guys learned a lot from this one. I thought the CZ Sam fractal would blow you away too. Pretty funny, given what we talked about with VIX Mageddon and where the world's going with BRICS and the leverage credit system. It's an interesting meeting of those two worlds in a space we can see what the results could possibly be on larger scales. Definitely scary to see how fast the proof of assets model was able to take out the fractional reserve model. Right, that looks scary as shit. So if that's a sign of things to come, definitely something we want to keep our eyes on going forward. Tribunal, the living tribunal. What you guys know about that dude? He's an obscure fucking cosmic character in Marvel, but he's badass. Matic USD, we could talk about Matic. Where else are you going to see something like that on a morning market show? Be honest. Today we'll try to get some symbols in the back end. Yeah, that will show. I just had some conversations over the weekend. I felt like it was worth stepping back and kind of talking about some things about just risk in general, and giving you some ideas to help you guys think outside of this tunnel vision onto crypto's moving, oil's moving. You should have a more grounded approach to being inside this thing, especially if you've had some time in here and you've amassed any real capital. It's really dangerous to stay fully exposed. I heard a few stories of total life savings being wiped out on FTX, and I was really? People with hundreds, if not even 7 digits on FTX, and all of it on there. And it's kind of amazing the level of trust that these people got to have people blindly just believe that was the exchange that's as close to a US stock broker like that you never have to worry about. And it's like, he lied about having depository insurance. Like that was the biggest red flag of them all. And I don't know how he didn't get like in more trouble for that. But like that was one of your big red flags early on for this guy. It's interesting enough. Let me find this real quick. Where did he go? Check this out. Gotta give credit where credit's due. The Gerb called it too. Look at this. He posted it up here on his Insta. The guy is scary. Like, I can't tell you how much this man scares me for the future of crypto. This is July. So he was on it. He seems to be running something very questionable. I learned this lesson from taking part in AIG when it went down. If the glove don't fit, if you listen to one conversation this man had, it sounds fucking like he has no education at all. He just sounds stupid. That slow motion video of him handing $100 out, like that's something you market to peasants in the fucking bottom of the world. Who is like, oh wow, you're earning money and you drive a Corolla and you're gonna give me $100? Think about the person that thought that was fucking something amazing. It's not really that he's such a dumb piece of shit that like has no idea what he's talking about. It's a total scam artist. What kind of person fucking was receptive to the messaging that man was fucking like putting together? Like Jesus fucking Christ. You have to blame the people on the other end of that at some point. If you just took one listen to the guy, clearly Gerber heard him speaking. Like anybody speaking that altruistic shit, dude, like run for your fucking life. This is probably something none of us want to fucking know about or see up close. 1, Tom Brady trusted this woman. Dude, what? I'm just saying that. And so what is it in here? Synergy between crypto and fraud. This is like part of like, the things they were following her and her Tumblr. And what her thesis was in here. Her name was Fake Charity Nerd Girl. Like, these people were probably at any fucking moment you spoke to them like a giant red flag of not go near this fucking place. I don't care how much drugs you give any of the people I grew up with, myself included. I'm not even putting like my enemy's dick near this thing. Like, oh my God. There's no drugs that would make that a good fucking idea. Could you imagine? Holy shit. That's a face a mother doesn't love, bro. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. You can't look through, like, it's like looking directly into the fucking sun, Holy shit. But anyway, shout out to Mao. Respect. Putting us on the right side. I do my best, man. And I feel bad that not a lot of people were able to react to the warning. It was, CZ didn't give us much time to kind of read the tea leaves on that one. But like I said, if you have your health, you can start again. We've had many people come from the previous cycles fully wiped out, come back, and I know there are people watching this that got hit hard, that didn't get out. And you pay attention, focus from here, and you can build back. Don't let the emotions of like how much you've lost like cloud your vision and be able to like just structure a plan and begin again. You don't have to make it all back in the next trade. You just have to lay a plan out that you can fucking begin from and like be consistent and just run it up again. It's pretty crazy though. Like that those two are responsible for the level of destruction that just happened, and like you can't tell me nobody saw this. Like Jesus Christ. It seems like everyone gave them a free pass. Totally fucking insane to me. All right, let's see. Did you guys give me Reddits? Let's see. Oh, I see FTX war story. What is going on here? Stop turning this on. All right. I got DLT watches. Okay, 4 days ago. We didn't do one last time, so this should be good. After the memo about liquidity in markets, I focused my watch list mainly on Forex. Very cool. Here, I narrowed it down to a few liquid symbols that had been presented on the streams, evolved my plans in line with Kaz's analysis, and ensured I had all the key levels from the shows and Nomics.com. Well, I put them in the chat in Discord. Finally, I focused on executing my routine and taking profits at appropriate targets and letting the trend unfold with a runner below. Runner. Below is a few of the trades from October, November. Y'all have so many different ways of like putting a picture into Reddit. It's kind of crazy. All right. Doge 13 R's. What a beast mode play on that one. Interesting background. 5.3, 2.8. Some currencies and some cryptos. Very nice. What are we on? Wednesday? I think we talked about this already. That was a red week on Monday, right? We went over this thing. Did we not go over this thing? I don't think we went over this thing. So today, what do we have here? I think all these went off already. 8:30, Canada, USA numbers, all that stuff went off already. Bank of England's governor's gonna speak here in like a half an hour, and it's red. That's probably worth fucking seeing. And a monetary policy report hearings. Not exactly sure what can come out of that, but going into the opening bell, that's kind of crazy. There's definitely likely still support underneath the pound. Right now you're still seeing the dollar get pushed down quite a bit, which is giving us like a breath of life, in stocks. So this would probably be interesting to see what happens here to the pound and risk assets when this guy starts running his mouth. To a lesser degree, ECB Lagarde talking. It's just two different central banks in the Eurozone, and you probably want to pay attention to this stuff. There are G20 meetings. I wouldn't expect anything specific to come out of this in any one moment. But it's something you want to be aware of because something can come out of it. But it's not something like these guys talking on the mic. This is definitely more worth paying attention to. Aussie stuff, that would be big for Aussie currency. And then Philly Fed would be important to pay attention to tomorrow for like stocks. So decent news flow this week also like last. I think we had earnings we give a shit about too. Let me see. Well, retail is sucking wind. This was yesterday. Today, I think before the bell, you might have had Target, but all these guys. I think it was a bad report from like a retailer this morning, but nothing really humongous that you care about. Macy's, you might give a shit about tomorrow. See what he does. Applied Materials, you do care what he says for semiconductors. So that's probably the most worthwhile one of the week that you give a shit about. FTX week and NFT war story. It should be interesting. All right, who is this? This is Ecstatic. Hi, Kaz. First time writing a war story. All right, cool. New person. I've been following you since 2019. Got booted for lack of participation as I was splitting myself in too many ecos, discords, and that I did not get to fully value the eco. It happens. Well, I'm glad you came back. Let's see where you're at. Wanted to say thank you as the intel provided on stream helped me dodge the bullet on FTX. I withdrew some funds upon hearing the news, but not all of it, as my bias had me stuck in the belief that there is no way FTX could be insolvent. Upon hearing the intel on the stream on CZ could be giving an early warning sign, I flipped bias and was able to get out in time. 2022 has been quite the year for me. I was able to exit most coins at the top with the intel provided in the streams. However, I got in the hodl mentality with blue chip NFTs and got emotionally attached. I felt I missed the huge run on NFTs earlier this year and wanted to get in, which ended up being near the top of the NFT run. I did head short the ETH value of NFTs on the way down, as mentioned on the stream, but I was too emotional as price went way past my planned stop out price, and there was no buyers to buy at the stop price I set for my NFTs. As market bottomed out in the summer, was still holding with short hedge, and I took advantage of the lower USD price on purchasing NFTs again and short hedge again on new purchases. ETH ripped to over 2K, hurting my short hedge, and NFT price fell in terms of ETH as well, which cascaded my losses. I set prices on my NFTs to stop out, but there was no buyers again and had to settle with huge drops after trying to hope for a bounce. I didn't get to plan for this occurrence and it ended up hurting my portfolio a lot this year. In hindsight, I should have immediately stopped out as soon as possible and make a plan for the possibility of a short squeeze on my ETH hedge and the fall of the ETH value of my NFT I was holding. It's pretty detailed. I also should have managed risk better as there was no guarantee I could exit the NFTs at the stop out price I had planned. Upon joining the Acolytes, I was able to join my first wave Logic concept call, as well as attend voice calls during Euro session and the New York session. Was able to implement the things learned in the calls and had my best 2 weeks of trading during the recent week of the FTX crash, netting close to 19 Rs. I know with consistent habits and participation in eco, I can start fresh and make back the losses from this year. See, that's exactly what I just told you guys. You could have got whacked, but you can come back with a little bit of structure. Thanks, Kaz. Thank you, Kaz and Vicky, for making an awesome eco and everything that you do. Here are some of the plays I took. Most of it was mentioned on stream. That's Abramal. Can't remember mentioning that guy. Sushi, Euro, all good and stuff. Good rotations. Good shit, man. Well, I'm glad that we could help you out some. Sorry about the NFT thing. Yeah, one thing about NFTs, they're really a liquid, and you have to think about those. Like in a liquidity crisis with the markets dropping, like the discount you'll take on exiting in a rush is sizable. That's why we talked about having a hedge at all, to hedge downside, because you're not going to have good liquidity to get out of them. And there could be a huge variance from where you want to get out to where you do get out. So the best thing is to lock up the valuation of those things if you can. And when the market settles down, try to offer your way out and kind of at least get your price. Remember, if you FOMO out on a drop to the bid, smart money names its price. Dumb money takes the price. That's a good way to think about it. So in stable markets, there were smart buyers shop because they have price stability. You can negotiate for what you want. When prices are ripping ass, you cannot accumulate large positions, and people FOMOing into the offer when prices are hauling ass, chasing it, are generally more emotional. So you want to not be in an emotional market and have those emotions have you throw an NFT that's already down 20-30%, another 20-30% out to a liquid bid. You want the market to slow itself down, and if you can lock up the valuation which you've got in there, minus what fluctuations it has on its own, you do better to wait for the market to stabilize and then unwind your hedge and unwind your NFT at the same time, and with a little bit better price discovery available. That was a detailed scorecard. Let's see, what do we got here? When, if the credit system will break, there will be inflation or deflation. Well, Putin wants to break it with hyperinflation and remove our purchasing power. So his goal is to obliterate our currencies. So we should see what you're seeing now, inflation, but runaway inflation that our central banks can't get control of. And one of the things about our economy is the way they're structured. They're like cars with a nitrous system in them. But if you turn on the nitrous and the car can't get going, it'll fucking catch fire. And that's what Putin's effectively doing. We're in a position where we effectively have to kind of do something like cut a hole out of a blanket, which if we don't get more blanket, we're going to run out of blanket. So as we are sitting there having to add credit to the system to kind of support the infrastructure while we can't actually go ahead and have any real production, it's a threat to the currency. And in countries like Japan that literally are much more leveraged than the United States, their currencies are taking it in the face even faster. So while China and Russia kind of have a two-pronged attack of keeping manufacturing stalled in the U.S. economy from coming back online, and Putin is depleting fucking assets, military assets in Ukraine, and also forcing military spending on the back of what the U.S. is doing to support Ukraine, he's effectively putting us into an inflationary position without any real production. So his goal in that is to vaporize the dollar's purchasing power and the proof of asset system versus the funny money system. Do something similar to what CZ just did to fucking Sam. All right, so that's it for our scorecards. 8:55. I'm actually not doing bad on time. All right, get this troll off my fucking screen. Who wants to look at this shit one more time? Dear God. All right. No, fuck her. Oh, did you guys see this? Check this out. FTX account drainer swaps millions in stolen crypto, becomes the 35th largest ETH holder. Holy shit. One thing about blockchain and criminals, though, boy, I don't know if he's going to really get this one out of the system. But I think we might have a fair idea who that fucking hacker is. This is definitely the funniest fucking meme of the whole thing right here. But come on now. We already know who the fuck's under the hood. It's not hard to figure out. All we need is put a little mustache in here, and you pretty much got him. Ridiculous. 35th largest ETH holder. Holy fuck. That's a lot of fucking ETH. All right. So where are we at here? Let's see. So pre-market things. Start off here. We need to do this. Let's look at where we are. We've had a pretty good pump in the markets. I think we had a number go off, or something. 830 stuff did go off. We just looked at that. Markets pre-market before that were green, and right now, like, you're pretty red all over the place from tech to retail. Retail, I told you, somebody retail came out and said something stupid this morning, and that the fourth quarter would look really soft. So if there is a chance for a pullback here, this is a good makeup for it, for as strong as we've been for a little bit. But we'll go ahead and look at the S&P and all that stuff and make sure of what we're seeing. So energy's been a hot spot for a while, and energy definitely looks like structurally probably the best of all the sectors in the S&P 500. But he right now is kind of like flat. So we'll take a look across the market what we see. So let's go here. So this was, I guess we can go up to this resolution. This is the Qs. We talked about, it's one of the last shows where we drew this channel, right? We talked about, like, when you're looking at, like, the November correction down. Hi, Ivy. Ivy wants to make a cameo. Can you see her? Well, you can hear her. Anyways, all right. Yes. Okay, not now. All right, my God, when she wants here up, she wants up. So in talking about this, right, way to keep perspective. So we'll talk about some macro things today, actually, some really macro things. So we look at this, and let's zoom out to, like, big res. Like, when you look at the market right now and its decline, right, if you look at the right resolution, this doesn't look like as horrific as people, kind of think. You look at diamonds, you look at this stuff, that actually looks pretty bullish. It doesn't even look anything remotely as bad as COVID right now, right? This looks like a bull flag that could very much rotate. If it does take out the last high that generated slow, it'll break this downtrend. But for right now, these are pretty healthy looking bull flag that you have on these assets, right? Trend wise, that's already broken it on the Dow Jones. So first of all, does the world look like it's in total Armageddon? Not exactly. At the right resolutions, we said there may be an industrial rotation on technology. I think that's very possible, and we'll keep that in focus, right? If this continues to bounce from the lows that we have here, from the internet bubble highs, and we keep on getting a bounce in this low resolution uptrend we've got here, then industrials are probably the place that we should be looking more so than, like, tech stocks that look like fucking things like this, right? Like Meta and shit that look like fucking the apocalypse. There's things like Mickey D's that look pretty fucking damn good, right? You imagine Mickey D's over a fucking Meta. Who'd have thunk it? Right? But that's a hell of a fucking pop on fucking Meta's destruction and McDonald's. So right now, it's obviously pretty crazy on the bounce that we have in Meta. But you're seeing that right now. Most people are looking at the wrong side of the market. We talk about Buffett versus Kathy Big Penis. And, that's pretty fucking bullish coming out of fucking COVID, right? This is really the side of the market that the rotation had to be made. Kathy never made an adjustment when we went into COVID, and she stayed with the same thesis that she was looking like the smartest person in the room for, but hasn't changed a single thing. And right now, something's definitely different. So this is kind of our macro situation, right? If we're dealing with this, like we deal with antisocial versus social rotations, when we're like Zoom versus, our CCL. When Kathy was on Zoom, she seemed like a genius until you could not go on a cruise ship anymore. And, she seemed like a genius in the middle of COVID up until the point you could start to go back out again. And Zoom wasn't the main communications platform. She stated the same thesis and she got killed in that idea. So this is a social versus antisocial, right? Zoom was the antisocial, CCL was the social. We're dealing with industrial versus tech. Right, and so at this moment, this is the wave we're dealing with coming out of November, and will this sustain is kind of like what we're looking to see if that's going to happen. So the correction that started with them draining liquidity out of the market triggered this wave in an industrial rotation versus tech. So as far as we know, the Fed is going to stay with the policy that began this whole shit at least into 2023, and I think we might see a resumption for like real support from the Fed for growth in the market probably in 2024. But if this continues, then the thing we need to watch on the bullish end of the spectrum would be the Dow Jones. We always start with the SPY, but I want to put this in focus because we don't talk enough about the Dow, and that probably means it's a vacant trade, that no one's talking about the fucking Dow if we're not even talking about the Dow. this guy, like, we have like very bullish plays like this, Northrop Grumman, some defense guys, Lockheed Martin. We've seen these guys all look really, really ridiculous. We have a war situation in Europe. So if the market is not going to go through the absolute pavement, or not all sides of it, tech itself is weak, but industrials themselves have insane relative strength. There's definitely a side of the market to pay attention to where most people's eyes aren't. Nobody's excited to say they're fucking buying fucking Lockheed Martin as they are to say they fucking caught Apple. And that's kind of part of it. Nobody wants to fucking play industrial assets. So that being said, let's go back and we'll do a little SPY thing we always do. So at this moment, we're tracking this current low resolution bull flag. That's much like the summer low resolution bull flag, which ultimately amounts to a bear flag in the entire macro downwave from November. This can very much be the same thing, right? The stop run in the lows of summer equals a 2B. The 2B is like a stop run reversal, but it puts in a new low, and from there begins a very similar structure. We had graphed this for you guys as a projection. You come back up through, flag, and then ultimately rotate up, which he's done. And our target at this point is the same place that this one finished at, the same downtrend from the dead highs. So this is what we're watching. And as far as we're concerned, right, like this is a bull flag. This is what this is. This is us looking at the bear flags that make up the waves of a bull flag as it forms on a very big resolution. Resolution that takes up a span of 1 year. So if we're leaving this, right, this is the thing we're saying the diamonds are kind of looking like they're attempting to rotate out of. And if they're giving us a window as the leader in the market that the industrials are at this moment, then it stands to reason that we could possibly be looking at the chance for the S&P to approach that angle and possibly break it. The Qs are the laggard in this entire thing. They're down in the dumpster right now and have a longer way to go. If the market's strong enough, they probably will chase it, even though they'll be an underperformer to industrials if that same diamond Q ratio holds. So that's kind of like our broader view. I think we don't need to go too much more details into that. So DXY things, that guy came down like a stone. We talked about following this down angle if you watched it, and if that worked out that way, we might see the euro pop out of this uptrend, lower resolution uptrend, which he has. And so as long as this uptrend stays intact, this also lends to the possibility of a risk assets continuing that strength on a weakening DXY. So for right now, this is a stick, and you probably need to see this guy chill the fuck out a little bit to give you something else, like a better structure. Probably say watch what he does right here and see if he makes he congests and makes a structure on this spot, and then you can make a plan once he chills the fuck out a little bit. So I think we'll see what he does if he makes like a shockwave on this level, and then from there, if he corrects and rotates back up through it, he could continue the same path. We see this in a couple other places too, right? Euro is actually becoming exceedingly strong. So this was actually, that's probably a good time to check this guy out. So the risk is that that's the extent of the DXY's push, and this is actually like a total trap and a really big bear flag that gets up here, and he holds, the geometry of this setup and rotates and continues to rotate back down. So that's actually pretty good. So if you guys played the pound of the euro faded setups, you should have been able to kill these things. I saw a lot of you hit some euro waves in the euro session inside of Discord. So this is definitely worth paying attention to now. The pound is definitely the weaker of the two. Guys, getting all that? Next FOMC is December 14th. We get inflation numbers the day before. So that's going to be a hell week of volatility. So that's definitely something to put in your memo. All right, so crypto thing. So crypto is disproportionately weak now, thanks to fucking Sam Bankman, fucking fuckhead. So this is where we are. So remember we talked about this expanded range that we're waiting for all of September and October for ETH to leave. He left, structured out a flag, and didn't have any real push, and has come back under the base of this thing. And so this still holds true. Structured good flag over here, something worth taking a risk on, and same thing goes true into here. If he sustains underneath this is still the line stand you care about, because going under here is going to put him back into the entire volume area of the summer lows. So this is pretty critical. If he's able to go down here and takes out this range, that would be pretty bad. Like I told you many times, I think coin is a good proxy on crypto. And coin structure looks pretty awful. Sitting on the lows right now, flagging. If this guy rotates through the bottom, I think if you see crypto breakdown, you're gonna see coin fucking completely eat it. So I think this guy's worth paying attention to, and you'd be tracking this if he's gonna come out of here to the upside. So If coin keeps tracking that angle down and crypto stays this weak, a lot of stuff's in a precarious spot. Let's pull this up. Okay, get this off. This off. So just to kind of give you an idea what this looks like something else we just looked at in the show. That setup looks a lot like what did I have on here? Oh, is he totally gone from here? Shit, I guess I don't think I had that on here. Which one did I have this on? Let's put on this shit. Well, at any rate, he looks like this. Can you see it? He looks like FTT before FTT went through the floor. Let me put it over side by side one second. Not that. God damn it. See him? He looks a lot like it. Know what I mean? If you had to say where he was, like that right there is that right there. It looks ugly, but yeah, looks like it, don't it? I don't know. So keep that guy on your radar and pay attention if he goes through. He's going to be a barometer on all of crypto. All right, so that's scary enough. Love to terrify my viewers. Let's see if I can find something that's not terrifying. No, I can't. Not just playing. BTC. Right under here, we said watch BTC if he gets under this red area, this red trigger area. This is kind of like your lead on coin. If he's down through here, he's kind of actually structurally broken that structure that we're looking for coin not to break. So definitely pay attention. A lot of stuff looks alike right now. It's definitely not good. USDT.D, this index we track for a broader measure on all of crypto's health. Remember, above this emotion location for Trolex, this is a trigger for death to crypto. So we had watched this, a forecast of possible flag that will allow a bit more of a balance to get you into this box, but we're getting fucking other exchanges now popping up fucking illiquid, so that's not a good fucking thing. If you guys saw that yesterday, it kind of was obviously coming. It's nothing like some spectacular call or anything like that, but I put this up on Insta a couple days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago, and just said, you've got contagion risk. There are already guys that look like they were in trouble. So bankruptcies are probably going to show up in a couple spots. BlockFi was definitely the first suspect, and there's a couple other guys that are looking like Jump looks like they're in trouble this morning. Bybit, KuCoin, Huobi's in trouble. So this is probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. So crypto lender BlockFi preparing for potential bankruptcy following FTX collapse. That's kind of there'll be more of these. It seems that everybody and their mother trusted this motherfucker, and there's contagion risk all over the place. So be aware of that, guys. The FTX, this blow up, it might not be the only one. And if you don't have to have a lot of coin on any of these obscure exchanges, and you are not out yet and can still get out, not your keys, not your fucking money, get your shit in your possession, and kind of let the situation blow over if you don't need to sell out to US dollars or whatever. Let's see. All right, so that covers what we're watching here. So it's USDT.D. If you see this wick high, I put a little thin line on. He's kind of basing on that. So if he has to stay this high up here and rotate and push this bull flag at this res, you can de-risk right now, pretty bad. So I'd watch it. It's kind of parabolic. It looks like you could need some time, I would think, but it's structurally really bullish. So keep your eyes on it. BTC's in a bad spot, and things like Coin, ETH, some of those guys don't look so great. Again, right now, I think LTC is one of your relatively stronger guys, but your jet red, all my crypto stuff is jet red, so does not look healthy. All right, I think that covers everything we want to talk about. Oh, VIX. I didn't do the VIX. I always do the VIX. So VIX things, right? Is this the right VIX chart? This is right. Okay, this is the last one we talked about. Okay, this is what we use. So we're watching this. I think I drew it on both of them because we lost levels on one of them. So this is a worry, right? If you have that pattern I always draw for you guys, you change a trend angle, you rotate, and then you go into a higher resolution trend. That's the only real worry with the VIX, right? If he rotates this up, and we do have some stuff that looks kind of like worrisome for increasing volatility. If this pumps out, there's a good chance that the market de-risks if he goes into like a rotation with this move. But we would likely see dollar strength too, which we're not seeing. So kind of keep track of this. If we see this push up, that pound chart might be a topping sign, and the DXY might resume some strength, which would be no bueno. So let me see, where's our main DXY chart? Not that DXY chart. So for this guy to look like a decent bull flag, now he's kind of done this. He's blowing the bottom out. He's parabolic down. That's the only thing. You could get a stall in DXY just because of how steeply down he dropped. You're at an old trigger level, so it's a place that the speed of the dollar move could kind of take a chill right now. We see what it does if it develops something over top of this trigger, and the GBP does anything here with this setup. If the dollar gains some strength, that would lend some possibilities that the VIX could rotate and actually turn up off of this very good sentiment level. Stevie D's monolith level is fucking money. It is pretty much the Armageddon level when it blew through here. So I'd pay attention to this. We bounce here. If this continues to rotate up and the market stalls, then you might see something, a little bit of a red day today. It's possible. Our pre-market looks like shit. So right now we're paying attention to see if this guy takes us out or not. So that's it. That should cover all your macro things you care about. SPY VIX ratio. That's literally pointless. Let's see, SPY. The VXX isn't even anything anymore, so I don't think that person knows what they're asking for. But the VXX isn't connected to anything anymore. Right now, the UVIX is what you pay attention to if you want something like the VXX. From what I know, the VXX doesn't track anything you care about anymore. You want to track the UVIXI and SPY. UVIXI doesn't really tell you too much of anything. If you wanted to trade this, I guess you could. And it looks pretty bullish over time, right? Because the UVIXI is always kind of like disappearing. He's always debasing because he captures the term structure of your VIX contracts. So this guy kind of eats himself up. Am I not on the graph?
Did you share it?
Thought I did. Okay, my bad. So the UVIXI is what you use in place of the VXX now. And this guy has the, an effect because of the way it's structured of kind of like, basically debasing away to kind of dust to capture the roll cost between your front and your back month contracts in the term structure of your VIX. That's a little here nor there. Anyway, because of that, if you were to actually put this guy SPY over, UVIXI, it would make for an interesting play. Like he would pretty much be a perpetual bull market, but he's prone to some pretty massive swings in very heavy de-risking periods. So this is something that's an interesting ratio, let's say. So he is pretty much a perpetual bull, but his counter structures can be quite vicious. So for right now, what he's doing, he looks like he's rotated a bull flag. Could be worth paying attention to. Also recognize that this ratio is a 42 ratio, so you need 42 times as many shares in one half in the UVIXI to equate to what you had to put on the SPY. So pretty expensive ratio for the average person. All right, next, some volatility porn. They ain't ready for that. This is not that level of show. There's not too many people can understand that combo, so try to keep it where people can understand it. HO, IBM, and XEM. HO, what is HO? Is this right? Thals, I don't know what this is. Euronext? Did you mean this symbol? Well, I don't know. Did you mean that one on Euronext? Did I read that wrong? I just confirm that and I'll come back to it. IBM. So industrial things, talking about the Dow Jones being strong as fuck. This guy is a Dow component. And yeah, he has been a little bit stronger, especially since here he's been well off of his COVID lows and pretty much sitting at an interesting place if IBM's ever to fucking have a resurgence with the Dow rally. So definitely not the best of breed in industrials at the moment for sure. But you're pretty much watching to see if you can get on top of this. This is a good level that I put in here. I think this is from, it's not exactly it. Probably need to put that right here against his high from 1999. So this is a pretty interesting area he's at. This box range, it's a very messy bull flag. That's one thing I'd say. He's not best of breed. This guy could be choppy even if he does track higher. Until he's a little stronger, this would be a bit of a mess. But he does appear to be rotating a longer term bull flag right now to pull off one of these. XEM. You guys ask me some weird ass symbols. Is this the right symbol? Is it a Canadian symbol? The fuck are these? Is XEM that? XME. Okay, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? All right. So HO is right and XME. All right, got it. XME is an ETF for metals and mining. This guy looks a lot like stuff we've shown you over here, right? Humongous bull flag rotation right here. He's got his ultimate low here, his higher floor here. So, he's definitely in trend heading that way. So you're looking at that right now, time to rotate this, and there's definitely a couple guys worth looking at in here. Steel Dynamics and some of these guys like that. Non-precious metals are also quite strong. Mucor, not as strong. FCX, we talked about these guys before. Some copper guys are rotating right now. So there's definitely stuff to pay attention to both precious and non-precious metals at the moment. And then HO you said was correct. This guy is, what did you say he is? Electronic technology, aerospace, and defense. Okay, so probably in the same world as Northrop Grumman and shit like that. So this dude looks good. The whole aerospace and defense sector looks good. So we used to show you this, so we put a box range up here and say let him do a shockwave against the high and then play what comes out of that. So that would pretty much be like a setup like this. And so let him get to stabilize above this. Because he's got the high up at that wick, you'd probably let him stabilize off of that and play above this. But I'd pay attention if he stabilizes a flag structure in this range right here. That would be worth paying attention to. What am I at? 920? Holy shit, I got to 920 already? I thought I was cooking. I thought I had lots of time here. Holy fuck. That happened really fast. So I'll show you something really cool before we get to the opening bell. So what's the last ones you guys asked me? Okay, I'll do this really fast. TSM. TSM, pretty sure I had this somewhere. Okay, that's the last time I had it. So Buffett took a big ass stake in this guy. Definitely worth checking out. That's the scale of the pullback you've got there. It looks kind of crazy. I think if you think about this guy bigger resolutions, he doesn't look as crazy. But it's tech. I don't think it's the best place to be at this exact moment. But Buffett looks like he's betting on something to do with a deal from the White House likely to alleviate the semiconductor issue. So I think right now it's a decent rotation. It's a gap up. You probably see if he fills the gap and pulls back, and if he gives you a structure out here, he can do something like that from. That's kind of a possibility. But for right now, I think you'd want tech strength behind it if you really went for this. There's probably some other things in the market that don't look so bad. AWK is a water utility. We talked about this before. Looking for a flag on the outside of like coming out of this angle, he put in a new low, and you're looking for the exact same thing here anyway. So if he could structure this to finish his rotation, it's possible. He went through this low with a 2B right there. So that's kind of better. He did one right here, and this is just a bigger one. So it does set the stage. If utilities get any strength, but utilities have sucked ass. So, utilities get hurt by rising rates. So they've not really been the strength at all. Like REITs, they've also been hurt by rising rates. Okay, so Matic, I'll show you this Matic USD. I'm gonna jump to this one just because I want to get a crypto in here and then show you something really quick. Matic. So this was Matic we talked about before. We still think this is in play. This is the projection from where we had the angle here. And we talked about this, right? Big trend. It's still the same pattern, right? This same pattern. And possibly doing this. Just a very huge correction from that all the way down and possible rotation here. Otherwise, he's doing something like this with the rest of crypto, which is a bear flag, and he can come down and go back into this box and come back out of this box and come back up again. If you see coin and everything let go, that's likely the more likely scenario right now, that everything takes a shit bath down, off a cliff with it. Something I was looking at with Matic, I think is worth looking at. We talked about Atom, ETH, and we're watching this ratio on the longer term. For possible rotation, it's taking a sweet ass time. But I thought about, what about this one? This was actually thrown at me by Sim, Crypto Sim in the channel, and this guy, oh, that doesn't show too well. Matic ETH. What was it on Binance? I forget what I put it on. Maybe Binance. Right. Matic, we talked about is pretty much, as a scaling solution, is capturing fucking some huge institutional players. Capturing Nike now with Nike's new swoosh shop, Disney, JP Morgan Chase, and I forget one of the major players on there. But as a a level on top of ETH, this guy has some interesting strengths going on right now on who most people consider to be the main metaverse platform, which is Ethereum. So I thought this guy was an interesting one to see, on a big rise like this and take a look at. There's bull markets inside of markets that most people don't really look at or think about, and this would be one of those, right? Matic over ETH is probably a very overlooked marketplace right now. But this definitely tells you something about the adoption wave that's going on with Polygon. So I thought that guy was pretty good. That is pretty much as much as I can put in here, motherfuckers. You guys gotta go trade. 924. Can't do natty gas. We'll have to catch that next time. IBM just announced a new quantum processor like a week ago. Very interesting. Don't know much about it. But yeah, it's 924. Hopefully you guys from the concept call, this show hit you a little different. You can make some really badass plans now from all the content we have out here and some of the past content. I'm not going to be able to, do a live call today. I'm going to be doing the next concept call for the European session zone of traders and acolytes at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, before market. So you guys who weren't able to be in the Tuesday one, make sure you show up. You'll definitely learn a lot of shit in that one. All right, so good shit. I catch y'all motherfuckers on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.